Hey everyone! So, as some of you may know, about a month ago, almost a month ago now, the Boston Herald did a story on us and the epic winter we've had in Boston, with over 100 inches of snow. And it's actually snowing again right now, and maybe we'll break the record of the most historically snowy winter.
At this point, we have to.
We have to, or this winter will be in
It's a
vain.
pride thing now.
Um, But so we wanted to do a video and follow up to the article that the Herald did because they did a really good job showing what it was like for us to get around in the winter, and that really wasn't an exaggeration. But they, in terms of what we actually talked to them about, they didn't really use any of what we said at all, and we just wanted to follow up. First of all, say that we're okay. We're fine. You fine? You okay? Because it was sort of dramatic and a little bit scary for people seeing us get stuck and trying to go places. And the reality is, we weren't out doing that. We were with them, and we kept going out to see if it was better, and it wasn't. So what we want to do is just kind of like reenact the interview that we actually had with them and give a little more information as to what this winter has really been like and what we've sort of gone through living here. So we'll just jump in and sort of fill in the gaps that the story left out. And if people want to get in touch with us or email us or fill in any more gaps, feel free. So, first of all, she said, "So, you've been stuck in your apartment for a month." And it had been about a month that weekend, I think, or like the day after or something. She was like, "What was that like?" And
Go ahead.
so, secretly, not so secretly anymore, it was really nice, actually. We were safe and we were inside and we were together, and we weren't out trying to commute and worrying about it. And we both were really fortunate that we work for great organizations that were really understanding, and neither of us had to take any time off. We were able to work remotely, and it was nice being able to actually focus on work and school and work full days without having to worry about where, like, how we were going to get around and what time we had to leave and if we were going to be able to make it. And it was really nice. And we weren't out taking the train. And usually for me, I get sick in the winter, and I had already been sick after the new year, but not being out on the journey train, I think my body was really happy, and I slept good and we ate good, and it was it was really nice. And when we were talking in the interview, we realized too that this was sort of the first time in like 3 years that we've moved here that we've been able to like slow down and actually process what the last couple years have really been like. And I was writing something for school, and I really was able to reflect, and we sort of just talked a lot and thought about everything that we have been through in the last few years, good and bad. And it's insane the amount of things that have happened just since we've been here, with the marathon and me being in the hospital a couple of times, and Owen's accident that happened earlier on, which is another fear that we have about commuting and our family stuff and travel and school and work, and it's been crazy. So this month that we had together was really just a really nice period of reflection where people understood and knew where we were, and we were safe. And I think the funniest thing is, and the best part is, that we're still not sick of each other. Remarkably. So I think, it shows that we make a really good team. And, it was really eye opening as to how difficult it is living here, actually. So another thing we talked to her about was the limited options for getting around generally. We used to use the Ride, which is a paratransit service for people with disabilities that you can apply for. It's not income based. I wrote a blog about it. I'll link to that in the bottom too. But I used that for a whole year when I worked over in Charlestown, and Owen tried to use it. And our consensus was that it's not an option. Do you want to talk about your...
It really doesn't work for us, and it's hard to plan around using the Ride and being able to schedule according to whatever they tell you their schedule is, and whether you want to or not, you might get there an hour early wherever you're going, or you might be late, and really you have no control over when they show up and like when you get where you're going and who else is there and where else they have to go. And if they even go to the right place at the right time.
If they're going to try to pick you up at your house to bring you to work or at work when they're supposed to be picking you up to bring you to work. I ventured out a couple times with the snow, one of which was for a medical appointment, and I had Ubered there. And there were poor elderly people who had been waiting for the Ride one of the previous days for 4 hours. And you can't plan around that. Like, that's your whole day. So, it just really emphasizes that the schedules of people with disabilities, don't matter. And it's no wonder that people with disabilities can't maintain employment if that's their only transportation option. And we have been using Uber a lot, and Uber, for those who don't know, is an app that you put in your information and you basically call a car through your phone. You don't need cash. There's no transaction. It's all automatic, and it's great. And they respect you, and it's pretty sure that you're going to get where you're going. But with the weather, they were really taking advantage of price gouging because for a long time during the storm, our side of the train wasn't even running. So we literally had no other option if we needed to get somewhere on time. But the thing about using that service is it's a privilege, and we recognize that. We're fortunate to be able to have the income to use it, and the fact that Owen's chair, you can just put it in the back of a car. If, when I Uber, I don't bring my scooter. And if either of us had, a power chair or a mobility device that we couldn't put in the back of a car, we couldn't go anywhere. So it's either the T or Uber or rely on somebody to give us a ride. And if we take the train and I have my scooter, then if someone offers us a ride later, I want to Uber later, I'm stuck with my scooter that is not portable. So the thing about getting around here is that everything is like a catch-22. It's like you either make the sacrifice in time, not knowing when you're going to get there. Even if we take the train, sometimes we can't fit on the first two that come, or they're not accessible because, as I'm sure you've heard on the national news, we have train cars from the 1940s that they haven't updated. So even the train isn't definite. And so it's just really frustrating. And we realized how much time and energy we spend just trying to figure out how to get from place to place.
It's really a gamble, depending on the day, deciding what is going to be the least complicated way to get where we need to go and how long we want to spend commuting.
And the other thing we realized this winter is that sometimes when it's cold, your phone will die, just even if your battery's at like half or like 20%. So Uber, because it's phone based, if your phone dies, you may not be able to get home. So in the frigid polar vortex we had some close calls where one of our phone dies and we were like, oh my God, are you going to be able to get us home? Like, how are we going to get home? So that's another thing that was like, oh, we forgot about that. So yeah, the bottom line is that, we weren't able to get to the train, but the reality is even when it's nice out and we can, it's really annoying. And I know some people have visited us and have seen what it takes for us to get places. And I think at the end of this winter, we both just sort of look at each other and go, wow, what we're doing is kind of amazing. At the end of the day, when we get home, I'm like, wow, we have been doing that every day for 3 years. So it's crazy. The other thing about the train is that there's actually a T-stop right in front of our building, but it's not accessible. And so we have to use one that's 2 blocks down that you saw in the article, the video. And it's really, really dangerous, and people don't follow the traffic signals. And there's pedestrian lanes, bike lanes, there's like 6 lanes of oncoming traffic going different ways, not caring what other lanes are doing, and in inbound and outbound train. And just the other day I was sitting there and I literally waited to see a car get hit by a train feet away from me. And that was where Owen had his incident a couple weeks after we moved here that a lot of people don't know about, but that we disclosed in the interview for the first time. Do you want to?
Yeah, that intersection, and any intersection in Boston really, is just insane on a regular day, on a quote normal day, but especially in the snow, it can be impossible to get out of the road and into a safe area. I guess you could call it on a more normal day than we've been having here. I was actually crossing after work in the dark, and it was about almost 6 o'clock in the evening, and it was in the winter time. It was mid-December, and I was actually hit in that crosswalk, and my chair was broken into a couple different pieces, and I was bruised up, but I was fine other than that. And it was sort of a hush-hush thing that we didn't really reveal to anybody right away, and we're just now sort of making it fully public.
Yeah, it was pretty awful, and it was, when we were still learning how to get around the city, but
it didn't help.
No, it didn't help our first year here. But as you can probably imagine, it really stuff like that stays with you, and it makes you more nervous about commuting and about venturing out. And so for us not having to go out during the storm, we were okay with that. So that's the reality, is that, people can't see around the snowbanks, and we weren't going to try to go into work and risk our lives for some hours at the office. Mm-hmm. So, that's just one of the things about, what we've really experienced living here. So while we were inside, we also relied heavily on things like Peapod, which is getting your groceries delivered. So we had food. We were really, really fortunate that we did a big order before the storm hit, because after that there were no delivery dates. So we had plenty of food. We have a service here that delivers beer and alcohol. So we had beer, which marked the end of the workday. And we were, able to have takeout if we didn't. But again, that's a privilege. We're really, really fortunate that we have those services, that we have the ability to use them. And it's really scary to think about people who may not have our skills or our connections and our, resources to be able to access those things. So, we were safe, we were fed, we were okay. But when we did have to get around to go to appointments and things, it was challenging, and it definitely did add up. So it's just been really eye opening, what we deal with, just living here. And the last question that she asked, which I thought was really great, after we talked about what it took for us to move here, all the things that you guys have been following since the beginning, and since Owen and I even started our page. Our 4-year anniversary that we met is actually this week. So you guys have been a part of this and encouraging this, and it's been so amazing to see how far we've come. And now I'm going to be graduating, and it's just crazy. So she asked, what is your motivation? And she was really inspired, whatever, but she was really struck by when we were filming the video, and as you saw, my scooter got super, super stuck, and Owen pushed me out, and we just kept going. And she was like, that happened to you guys, and you just kept going. Like, it was no big deal. How do you keep that motivation? And we sort of just laughed, because to us, that was no big deal. Like, we leave the house every day expecting, like, if we just get stuck, it's a good day. If we can get pushed out, it's a good day. If we don't stall out, it's a good day. We had to really think about that, because in the winter especially, I personally have had to think about that a lot, about what is my motivation for being here, for going back to school, for doing any of this. It's been really, really challenging lately to remember why I'm doing it. And I think for me, especially in doing this video and doing a lot of the writing that I've been doing, is to help other people. And I say help other people, not in like, I want to help people, like stupid cliche kind of way. But recently I've had a lot of young people come to me and say, oh, I want to move to Boston. How do I move to Boston? What was it like for you? And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but what we've learned recently is that by what we post on Facebook, we have made it look really easy and awesome and exciting. And well, it has been, and we've been really fortunate to be able to do a lot of stuff, like go to concerts and go to Red Sox games, and go out for food and drinks and stuff. What people don't see is that we both work a ton to be able to do those things, and we don't share a lot of the scarier stuff and the hard parts of what we do, like getting around every day, getting in the door to our building, going to the ER, leaving the Red Sox game to go to the emergency room because I'm sick, and those things, making doctor's appointments, and the other side of transition. And I've seen and noticed a lot that the expectations that young people have by what we've accomplished may not be realistic. And so my motivation is to show people, show parents, show young adults, show everybody that it's possible. It is possible. We've made it happen. But it's not without a lot of work and determination and constant advocacy. And that's what we have started to say. And if you want the fun and the concerts and the Red Sox games, it's got to come with the staying healthy and the making money and networking and putting yourself out there and finding your support system. And so for me, it's those other young people who I believe can be advocates for us and help improve the system when, we can't do it alone. So that's my motivation. And how would you answer that question?
I would say that we do have a lot of struggles, and it is difficult to get around when it's snowy and when our equipment is, say, broken, or when we really can't get anywhere or do anything that we want to. But we are really lucky to have all that we do, like all the services that deliver here and all the people that care about us here and everywhere, and that can be there for us and provide us with any help that we might need, and each other. And it's really, it really could be worse, and it is worse for a lot of people. So my motivation is just to show that people can improve whatever problems they're facing and can do whatever they need to do, because everybody's story is different, and do whatever they need to do to succeed like we have.
So it's definitely a one day at a time sort of thing, and we're facing spring finally, and the snow is really melting. We had one day where it was like 55, and so that really made a lot of puddles happen. But we're seeing sidewalks, and we've taken the train now for 2 weeks successfully, and so it's, there's hope. It's happening, and we want to thank everybody for sharing our Boston Herald video and for supporting us in all the ways that you do. We never believed that when we started a silly Facebook page, we would have almost 500 people who cared about us the way that you guys do. So the last thing I want to share really quick is a lot of people have reached out and offered support or asked if there's anything they could do, and there's no way that you guys can come and remove the snow or make our ancient transportation system better. But if you do want to help out in any way, there's a link down below. We have a GoFundMe page that we started when we moved here because we had no idea how this was going to work and what was going to happen. And it's there, and it has our story, and if you want to contribute in that way, you're more than welcome to. And just a disclaimer, because I know everyone's like super judgy, because I'm super judgy. I'm like in the Queen's Court of judging. I'm only putting this out there because people have expressed an interest in helping. We're not asking for contributions. We don't need that. We're not relying on that. And we certainly are not using it to go and do all the things that you see us doing on Facebook. This is a emergency stash for us in case we get an opportunity to go somewhere warmer, or if, God forbid, something were to happen, it would just be there. So it's not beer money. It's not, we don't need this to live the way we're living. But people have expressed an interest in, if you want to do something, this is an easy way for you to support us. And if you still feel that it's super tacky and sketchy, and you don't want to contribute to that, but you want to help people who have helped us, please let us know. And there are other things that you can donate to or support, who support young people who are trying to make it in this insane city, just like we are. So if you want to help, there's information below. And once again, thank you all so much for all you've done, for sharing the video, and for continuing to just follow our crazy adventures. We would not be here without any of you, and it keeps us going to know that you all are pulling for us. So thanks again, and if you're ever in Boston, hit us up and we'll take you on a crazy adventure. So, is there anything you want to add? No? We're good? All right. Bye, everyone. We'll see you soon.